Alright, spent all day looking for parts. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this tranny. So, I dug up some boxes of parts that are been buried. Still can't find my gears, my little gears, but oh well. So, got a bunch of shift forks I brought down. These are shop ones, these are racing ones, which means the same thing, just older ones. These are 2 shift shafts and our 1 washer we're going to keep here. These are forks that were in there. We might use them, might not, don't know. We're putting a new primary chain in it. I spent all day so far. It's 9 o'clock now. Wonderful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use the stock counter shaft instead of the racing one. If I can come up with a racing one down the road and I can find my 2 NOS low gears I got a Harley, and then I'll put the racing counter shaft in there and go back to this setup here with the racing counter shaft. But for now, I don't want to reuse these low gears even though they look fine. I'm going to go ahead and cycle them out so we don't have issues like that. Missing teeth. So we straightened the main shaft last night. Yep, where's that? There we go. So we got this one straight, and we got this one straightened also. So these gears are usable, but not the best. When you have a broken tranny at the racetrack, you use anything. So that means I put this right back into these too, but it's pretty nasty. I got a bunch of these, so that we will replace later. So this one here is for right here. Low gear goes right here. And then these are what's left of these ones here. So we're missing these 2 gears here. This gear here is right here. This gear here I'm going to take out also. It's got some issues with it. Yeah. It's got somewhere in there had some trash run through it. Like right there. So it's not going to be good for racing anymore, but it could be used on a street bike. You didn't care about it blowing up. That's about half the stuff I own. So anyway, these are just going to be extra parts for now. So when I go to Bonneville or something like that, I can take these extra gears with me. I'll complete the rest of the set, and if something breaks at the track, at least I can swap some parts out that fit in the vehicle already, because they're already made to go in there. So this is the new shaft that was cut down. Go ahead and use that. This is a new stock counter shaft. So that takes a stock low gear. So I'm going to clean all this stuff up. So these are Andrews here. I decided to go with Andrews here also because this gear here is back cut for speed shifting. And so is this one here. They're both cut back for that. So you can see how they're notched. So those 2 kind of goes a set. That goes in there too because it matches that one because it's close ratio. So then it just comes down. These other gears, what we're going to do on these. So this one here, I'm going to put Andrews on that one because I don't trust the other ones I got too well. I think I got some Harley ones floating around too, maybe. But anyway, I'll just put the Andrews in there. These over here, this is an Andrews low. This one here, I only got a genuine Harley one. This was made in '97, so it should be made out of modern material and modern way of doing things. So it's nice and smooth and ground. So it should be pretty good quality. I had some 80s stuff also, but this is 97, so it's my newest one. Then it comes down to this set here. I had a Taiwan set, Japan set, whatever they were, or I go Andrews. So this one here is an Andrews, and I just went up and grabbed this one from Andrews too. So now we got these all Andrews also. This is 3rd gear. I use a 3rd gear a bunch in this bike. You go a long ways in 3rd gear on this bike. So like I said, low gear, you spend a lot of time revving up, dumping the clutch, trying to get the thing going, so you're really hard on this set. And then once you come on the cams, you run it through the low gear pretty quickly. Sometimes I get, when I had nitrous, I get on nitrous and low gear sometimes. And then you go into 3rd gear, which is this set over, 2nd gear, which is this set. So you do a full power upshift into that gear. And that one you go through fairly quickly. This one doesn't get loaded up too much because you're going through it. Then you go up into 3rd gear. And like I said, third gear in that a long time. This here you're 100 to 110 mile an hour depending on gear. With this bike right now, it's easily, you can do an easy 110 in second gear. So that's when you go into third. Then you run third up until you run out of RPM on that, which is probably well into the 130s probably, I would guess. Maybe 140 out of that gear if you maxed it out. And then you go up into high gear, which is direct drive. You run through this close ratio set. And the record's 144 I'm running on, so I did 131 with a blown up motor. And the second pass, I was in third gear all the way down the track, so that's when this stuff here all got. I don't know when this actually broke the teeth off, but this damage here was from running it down the track in third gear with that missing. And that's also what put the gear teeth through a lot of these other gears and screwed them up also. So all the teeth got marks from broken parts except for low gear. Low gear didn't get hit. All the other ones got hit by the gears. This one here is missing part of a tooth also. Right there. Counter shaft drive gear is missing a tooth. So somewhere over here, this one should have some damage too to match that, but I didn't really notice it. Yeah, I didn't really hurt it too badly. Like I said, it's got some marks in there I don't like. It's pretty rough right there. It definitely got nicked up. I think that's the only one that's really bad. You see how it's radiused off also right here? Instead of being nice and sharp like this, it's radiused over. And that's the tooth that's bad. So this one here was the one that was mated to that one. So I think a piece of shrapnel got stuck in between there and did that damage. It probably went right down the root of it. Yeah, see how in the root of the tooth in there it's pretty rough looking? So a piece of chunk went right down in there, jammed that in there, chipped that tooth off, mushed that over, and then it kept running down the track and all that kept eating up this tooth here. So that was damage from shrapnel. So anyway, they're used up. These ones here, these have a lot of wear on them. You can see this piece of shrapnel gun in that one right there. Big chunk of crap got in that. So that took out that one. There's probably a matching one on that one, I'm sure. So the look good is the one that didn't get hit, but I don't. One thing about racing, you cycle parts out so you don't break like that and cause everything to go bad. You just cycle them out. You can put them in street bikes, run them for years after that, but you have to cycle your parts. So I'm gonna, even though the primary chain looks just fine on this motor, I'm going to put a new one in it. Might as well. So weird how that looks. So I got to do some playing around on some of these things. So this one here, I got to check some heights to make sure they're the same. Sometimes I had to cut these down a little bit. Alright, so anyway, everything's Andrews here except for this, and this is a genuine Harley. So that's what we're going to do. So I got my external hones here. I got a big one, medium one, and small. They're all the same one, but different stones in them. So that's for doing different diameters here. So a little small one here I could use on that, but this I want to leave rough because I'm putting this on top of that. Sleeving it up to the bearing size of my case. So I went ahead and I'm going to polish this up. Polish this surface here. Gear runs here. This doesn't matter. This here doesn't matter there, but I need to polish up here. This is the one, third gear. This is what gets loaded a lot. And then I'll clean this up here. It's got a lot of sitting rust from sitting, debris, whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and polish it up. So I just use honing oil on the honing stone here. And you go ahead and you can do it by hand just by spinning it. I'm going to go ahead and put it in lathe and power it. So damn crap out of my way. There we go. One thing about this, you can go up higher and see what I'm doing on lathe. Yeah, fancy tripod. Alright. So we'll go ahead and do both of these. Let's do this one first. Close. I think most of the work to be done with one of these two. A little bit of honing oil, cutting oil, same thing. Alright, so another one. So this, you just turn this knob down here, which pulls it in, and then this here puts pressure on it. You can do this, control this with your finger, fine-tuning pressure. It's pivoting off right here. And the stones are in here. You got a shoe here and a stone here. And they come in different grips and sizes. Alright, size what I need. Spin it. If you grab the whole of anything, just let go. It's a nice smooth finish on it. Hear how rough that one is? That was a little bit smoother. Still got the high spots because I didn't take off too much, but now I can take off more if I want to make it smoother. It's just a matter of how much I want to take it down. So basically I'm just breaking it in so we have a new surface for the gear to rub on. I'm not going to clean that up too much. So that was kind of tight on there before, now it's nice and smooth. So that way it's broken in the first pass. So how much clearance do you want on that? I don't know. In a race bike, you want to run them pretty loose. I'm going to use Tribunal oil on here, which is going to protect everything, stop it from having issues like I was on oiling on some of this stuff. So that should be fine. See, the parts are turning blue in here and purple. That's an oiling issue. It's thrusting over so hard it's causing drag. That's because the shaft was bent. So the Tribunal will stop that metal-to-metal contact, and even though it's pushing against it, it won't do damage. Okay, this we're not going to hone on, but I can clamp on that and hone the other stuff. Same deal, I'm just trying to knock off the high spots. Basically giving a broken in surface when it's brand new. Size the other one. Yep, a little different. Oh. These have really fine stones, so they don't really cut much. Pretty smooth. Those are probably 500-600 grit stone. This one has splines on it, so it's going to be a little rough. Might not work too good on this application, we'll see. Not going to work. The splines dig in too much, you can't use it. So I'll use paper. So this is some worn out, whatever this is, 180. Used 180. Doesn't do the same thing as Harley, but it does knock off burrs. The hone will leave a nice round and true surface, this will not. We'll just smooth things up a little bit, that's all it's going to do. Alright. So that's this gear here. Smooth it up a little bit. Doesn't have a lot of clearance in it, but a little bit. Spins freely though, that's what matters. So that's good to go. So this will be our other one that we got to fit. Alright, so that's this one. This is not a bearing surface, so I can chuck right off of that. Normally you wouldn't want to do that though. Okay, this is going to be splined, so same deal, I can't really hold it very easily, so I'm just going to strap it. I call it strapping because you're using a strap. It used to be used leather strapping. Burnishes the surface in nicely. Alright. Oil or get oil in there from new packaging. So it's got a nice smooth mirror finish in there. Pretty nice. Good. Nice and loose. That's the one that likes to stick on the bike, so. A little bit loose. That's twice as loose as the other one, which is good. I like that. It's too tight before. So when this is on the race bike, when you're running the bike in neutral, this shaft is not turning because it's connected to your rear wheel. This one over here, on the other hand, is probably turning about 25,000–30,000 RPM, and it's geared up pretty high, so it gets a pretty high spin on that. So it runs dry real quick and friction welds itself right to the shaft. stuck more than one of them. So that's why that surface looks like that. That's from welding. And that's a lot of beating up there in the side of a trailer to get that freed up using a big ass hammer. Okay, so I'm going to knock this surface down a little bit here. It's already a little bit on the small side, which I don't like, but we'll go ahead and smooth it up a little bit, which I do like. Back to the small one again. A lot smoother. So it's this gear right here. Nice and smooth. So the bearing ears are right here is where the roller counts. It's rougher right here, you can feel it, hear it. It gets smoother in here. So this has a bushing down this side and the needle bearing right here. So that's not spinning out, that's clearance in it. It's got quite a bit in there actually. A couple thou at least. Which is not the best, but it'll work. Okay, one thing I'm going to have to do is, this has a large fillet in here, large radius, and this here has a small radius right here in the washer. I'm going to have to open this washer up so it won't dig in right on that corner and cause it to stick. The other thing I got to do is I got to check the height of that washer. I might be shortening that up. There's two different ones of these washers. This one looks to be flush, and this one looks to be flush also. Nope, it's not flush. See how this one sticks way out? See how this one here does not? So, in '79, Harley shortened up this washer by about 20 or 30 thou, made it narrower. And this is the '79 gear. This is the '78 and earlier gear. So I'm going to have to match these up. So I'm going to press this out, measure it, and then match it. Now this does not have the radius in there, it has a sharp edge in there too. And you see how this had a very large radius, way more than what I had. I don't know why that has such a small radius in there though. You can see how it was hitting the radius here. Got a sharp edge on it though, I was digging in. Alright, so that's going to have to be modified. I want to see what depth it is. Sometimes these come out easy, a lot of times they don't. The problem is you don't have any access to get behind it because there's a bearing back in there. So how do you really get it out is the question. I don't know. It's going to be one of those problems we're going to run into. So one thing I can do is I can put it on a lathe and turn it and cut it down, and if it stays tight it'll cut. If it's loose it'll grab a hold of these sharp edges here, it'll go chunk chunk chunk, and then all of a sudden it'll just spin and it'll come out. Not sure which one I'm going to do. Probably do the cutting part. And I'm not sure how hard the surface is, so my guess is not very. What to deal with it. I need to press this out too and see what kind of bearings are in there and check that out too. Alright, that's it for now on this. We'll be back.